You are listening to the IFH Podcast Network. For more amazing filmmaking and screenwriting podcasts, just go to ifhpodcastnetwork.com.
Just a heads up, this episode is brought to you by the Script Summit Screenplay Contest, where you can win a cash prize or even a contract with a Hollywood talent manager. All you have to do is visit scriptsummit.com for more info. All right, welcome to the Successful Screenwriter Podcast. On this episode, I am joined by a guest host as we analyze and break down a film to discover what works and what doesn't. All right, welcome to the podcast. I am Geoffrey D. Calhoun here with Kristy Leigh Lussier, script analyst and staff writer at WeFixYourScript.com. And today we are going to analyze the Hulu original film Boss Level, starring Frank Grillo and Mel Gibson, everybody.
Yeah.
I loved this film. I thought it was great.
It was great.
Yeah, right?
It was great.
It was like the perfect, I don't even want to call it a film. I want to say it's like it was a perfect fun movie to sit down and watch. You know, it was light. It wasn't too overly in your face. It was what you thought it would be.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, a little bit of a twist on the whole, we always reference it now as like Groundhog Day, right?
Yes, of course.
But a twist on that, you know, in a different way. And there's been a couple of them more recently that have been doing this.
Yeah.
New take on that theme.
The whole time loop theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm going to hit you with the log line here for Boss Level, the Hulu original. A retired Special Forces officer is trapped in a never-ending time loop on the day of his death. So, pretty on the nose. Frank Grillo stars in it and produces. And I got a fun fact for you. The boy Joey, that's his real son.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of neat. But
that's cool. Yeah.
I liked how they really sell you his character as an everyday kind of guy who's stuck in a rut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think that when we're introed and we hear his inner dialogue, his inner monologue, which is one of the most, I don't usually like it in everything, but in a film like this, it's perfect and it works.
Helps.
And
it helps.
I love it. And it gives that insight, because at first you probably just see him as some guy who's a badass action star.
Right.
But when we're hearing the inner dialogue, we realize, like he's just going through the motions.
He's going through the motions. He's stuck in a rut. I think, VO can be really cheesy and it can go wrong easily. Yes. Like Groundhog's Day, it didn't have VO. So we learned everything through character. So can you do it? Absolutely. So to use VO it's risky, but it works because it makes him endearing, because since it is an action movie, we don't have a whole lot of time of watching him kind of grow and struggle. So just seeing him go through the motions of trying to defend himself from assassins for like the first 8 minutes of the movie, you need that VO. And so it really works, because the way he's discussing it is, he's just like, and block this and slap him in the face. And, did I hit the bus yet? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He sounds like a guy. Who's like working in a cubicle and hates his day job. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rinse, repeat. Yeah.
No, absolutely perfect. I love it. And to structure a film like this is incredibly difficult, because you have to keep going back and hitting those key points to show linearly where the story is at.
Absolutely.
But it hit all the beats.
Yeah, it did. We likened it to one of my guy's all-time favorite films, which is Crank.
Yeah.
He loves that movie. And it had that same, just gritty feel, fast pace. You wake up and you're immediately with that character, and now you're going on this journey with that character. And you're with him the whole time. You're trying to figure it out as he tries to figure it out.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. I really liked, I like the inciting incident where he sees his kid. I like that. I like the midpoint where he thinks he is winning the day. Like, you think you're looking at this film, it's halfway through, and he gets the bad guy, and you're going, okay. where is this going? And then he goes, who's protecting your son? And then it's like his whole world is blown apart, right? That's a great midpoint because he literally goes through a death and then he's rebirthed and goes, tries to protect his kid, gets to know his kid, but goes through a depression where he wakes up every day and he's being assassinated. And instead he can't get out of bed.
Yeah. Yeah. At that point, when he sees his kid die, it's like, why even bother? I mean, there's
just getting,
what's that motivation?
Killed. Oh man. It's just, it's really good watching his character grow. And there was a moment where Mel Gibson's antagonist, who we can be honest, not really developed character, but it's Mel Gibson. So he's knocking it out of the park. But where Mel Gibson character describes him as a guy whose hustle and determination makes up for his lack of talent.
Yes, exactly. That was a great line. Yeah.
Yeah. If that doesn't make a character endearing and make you want to get behind a little guy or underdog like that, even though he's like, this killing machine. Wow. What a great way to sell a character.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and I like that midpoint happens. You're absolutely right. But then it's interesting because there's this interesting, I hate to say it, but kind of like third act shift as well. Yeah. And it works and it's great. It's when he realizes, wait a minute, I can still save my wife, or my ex-wife. And so then now he's got a motivation again to keep going into that.
Yeah. And that's birthed from the fact that, so when we're writing our screenplays, as you know, we always want to up the stakes, right?
Yes.
And it's hard to keep upping the stakes without it getting super ridiculous, especially in this film where like the fate of the world we already know is in the balance. Like, how are you going to up the stakes more? Right. So they up the stakes intelligently by making it more personal, which is brilliant. So once he gets the bad guy the first time, they up the stakes by, well, what about his kid? Right. Yes. So we up the stakes there. So we up a level there. Okay. Well, he does that. So how do we up the stakes more?
Right.
Well, maybe he can save his wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's not only do that, let's put him on a ticking time clock, which really right now he only has a window, limited time to do it. Now we have the audience on the edge of their seats because not only does he want to save the wife, but he's only got 14 minutes to do it. And the guy wakes up, so like just intelligent filmmaking, brilliant structure, brilliant pacing. And I thought, that twist is awesome. So what do you think? I mean, what is your thoughts on that ending?
Oh, on the ending?
Yeah.
I thought it made sense. I mean, it makes sense if you're talking about a cyclical kind of sense where it's birth and and then live and then death and reborn. It made sense. Yeah. I wasn't upset about it.
So I was kind of like, okay, I understand why we went there, right? It's a complete circle, right? He begins the film in bed, he ends the film in bed, and with the guy attacking him. But there is no set resolution. So we do not know if he survives that day to get back to his wife. Now, luckily, they add a wink in there where we assume that he's going to do it, which is a little tongue in cheeky.
Yeah.
But what I really like is that they end it because in the beginning of the film, he talks about how he's stuck in a rut and nothing really matters. And he goes and gets drunk and he waits for his impending doom. Right. So he's a man who's hopeless.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, what is there for, I mean, he wants his kid to know who he is. So that's a little bit of a motivation. And he clearly still has a love for his ex.
Right.
But other than that, those are the only two driving factors. But it's interesting that those are the two things that get him to the end.
Right. They carry him through there, his motivation. So then by the end of it, when he wakes up, the dialogue we hear from him, the VO we hear is, it's almost hopeful. Now all I have to do, like even he delivers the line, and now all I have to do is just survive today. It doesn't sound negative. It doesn't sound like a guy who's given up. It sounds like a guy who's ready for the boss level.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
To take it on. Yeah. So so there's growth there, almost to the point where it doesn't matter
for sure.
if he survives, because he's changed as a character. Wow, so cool.
Yeah, and what did you think about this? The whole time I was thinking that there is this interesting symbolism that it's like he's in a video game, but we're not.
Yeah.
They didn't throw it in your face, but it's the same feeling. Anybody who plays those kinds of video games knows. You know every single thing that happens in every single level, and the secret tunnel to take you somewhere else. And I mean, it was awesome.
I loved it. I mean, it was. I call them story conveniences. So he goes to a bar, he gets drunk, where there happens to be a sword master off in the corner.
I said that way early.
You know,
like,
and
what's going on there?
And then he has to learn to master a sword in order to beat a sub boss, essentially Guan Yin, in order to move on to the full boss, right?
Yeah.
Now I trained in Iaido for 10 years. That's the art of the katana, the Japanese swordsmanship.
I know that. That's pretty awesome.
I have a Shodan rank. I have a black belt in it. I did retire. But so for a decade, I had a sword and I used it. And I can tell you, it takes more than I counted it. He studied it for like, I don't want to say like 28 days. And I was like, listen, buddy, you're not taking on a master in like, a month.
Because, and again, like by the time he gets to her, he still only has half a day left.
Exactly.
So it's not like he gets full days with her.
I'm thinking, okay, so he's going to spend 1,000 days with this lady. No, it's about 28 days.
It's like, 28. If it's all it takes, then I just might as well just get up and start learning.
I was like, what did I do for
wield the sword?
What did I do for 9 years and 11 months then? So anyway, all right. So he does that, but it was cool, you know, and so we learned those things. And he goes through it very video game like. I love that they had supers that would say, you know, like present game or whatever they would do to kind of remind you like this is fun. I like the fact that there was little things like he subtly emitted an EM field that we could visually see something's wrong with this guy because he's blowing up TVs.
Yeah, the TV's behind him. It was the first kind of thing I noticed when he walked into the game. It was the game,
absolutely.
Whatever. Yeah.
But what I really like is the visual subtext that they set up in the very first shot of the very first scene, which is a watch on the kitty cat.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, right. But if you look at it, the face of the kitty cat is reflected in the glass and it's going backwards.
I didn't see that, Jeff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and watch that now because I need to see it.
I thought that was super cool. I was like, all right, that's a great visual subtext to start out a movie.
I see that.
Oh, that's all right. You know, it's fine.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. So that was in there, but those are little things that we want to show. Because when you see a movie like this, you think there's not going to be any visual subtext. This is a guy who's killing guys 6 ways from
Sunday. The general audience is going to follow just the guy. Yeah, right. Right. Not that I'm not saying people are not smart, but
and they really balanced comedy in this film, which I really appreciated. We talked about this off camera. There's a scene in the movie. I was eating a candy bar during the listen. So I'm eating a candy bar. I'm like, it's a Cliff Bar. I like to consider them like somewhat healthy. We both know they're not.
To you, a Cliff Bar is candy.
Yeah, that's a candy bar to me. I'm eating a candy bar. All right. So I'm eating this Cliff Bar midway through the movie. And there's this katana scene. Now, one of the villains is played by Will Sasso, who did a long stint in Mad TV.
Yes. Yeah, that's what he's most known for.
He's a great physical comedian. And he's playing a bad guy in this one. And I was like, cool, good for you, Will Sasso.
Yeah.
Use those chops. And I know spoilers, I don't care. He gets a sword in the head, right? and he spins around and he's like, I smell muffins. Do you smell muffins? And I started choking on my candy bar. I coughed up and spit it out while I was dying watching this because that's a great line in a script, but the way Will Sasso plays it.
What he said, the way he said it, right?
It's so funny. It's great. So
it was so good.
A movie like that is over the top, that is blood and violence. We're seeing people get decapitated. It's wild and crazy. It has to be fantastical. And to bring in a type of comedy like that, absolutely perfect. Otherwise, it could be taken the wrong way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's again, there's other movies in this vein that are the same. They're still that same kind of just over the top,
Right.
but they have those little bits of that comedy that really gives that relief, and it makes it work. It makes the story even a little more relatable because
Right.
when we're uncomfortable or we're on our edge, like a lot of people laugh. They like to laugh or they need humor. It's like their coping mechanism. So the comedy works.
So what did you think about the theme of starting again, starting over, second chances? I mean, that was clearly the theme in this film.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that in today's day and age, it's a great theme because I feel like all of us kind of feel, how do we start over? How do we reset and go back to level one and try again?
Right.
So I really appreciated that because I feel like it's really relevant today.
I agree.
But there's always regrets we all have that we think we replay even in our mind, and we think, if I had gone back and done this different or that different, what would have happened?
Exactly.
So it really touches on that aspect, which makes you think,
Right. And a successful movie is a movie that can reach out with a type of a human truth that we all have. And something as simple as second chances like that can really take a script or a film and make it a wider demographic, man. It can cast that net, make it high concept.
Yeah, for sure.
And they did that. And considering this was supposed to be a theatrical release, it didn't happen, but Hulu picked it up and made it an original. I feel like this film came under the radar. I don't hear anybody talking about it.
Well, yeah, when you said it and you mentioned it, I was like, I don't remember seeing that on Hulu. And then it was great. It was a great movie. And it probably missed, I think there's probably going to be a few of those that missed their opportunity to really have that big theater release.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I'd watch another one, which says a lot because this is it can be hokey. I'd watch another one of those. I thought it was good.
I mean, I live with a guy who this is his the demographic for this film is him, and he was all about it. There was only one sequence that he had trouble with. Okay. But other than that, he just loved it all over. And
very good.
Yeah.
All right. So what is our next film gonna be? What do you think?
I don't know.
I'm leaving it up to you. I chose this one.
Yes.
Outside of Frank Grillo, who really carried this film, he was great.
Oh, he was super awesome.
Mel Gibson, awesome, but not a lot of character development. Naomi Watts, fantastic. She's dead most of the movie, guys.
Sure.
So I don't know what you're gonna do with that.
Spoilers again, Geoffrey.
Oh my God! Don't. Why? Yeah, why? She's dead for 98% of the movie. So what are you gonna do with that?
Right.
But his son was great. So I mean, he really did carry this film, and I thought he did a hell of a job. I'm like a Frank Grillo fan now. This guy's awesome.
I've seen him in other stuff. Obviously, people kind of recognize him from some Marvel movies, but I've seen him in other like a CW series stuff, and he's
really
awesome. Yeah.
I saw him in one of the Purge sequels that I watched, and I was like, when you come into a movie like a Purge, when you come into like a Purge sequel, you think, well, this is probably just a cash grab, right?
Sure.
And then I'm like, this guy's kind of killing it. Like, this is really good.
It was like the third one, I think.
He was in two of them. He was in number 2 and number 3.
Oh, okay.
And I think he kind of like really. And so then after that, he landed the Crossbones and the Marvel. But he's a minor villain, so it's cool that but you don't really get anything. But seeing him like this, running his own, being the lead,
he did great.
Oh my God, so good. Because that could easily go wrong with the wrong performance, and he just brings that everyday kind of feel to it.
That's what was so great about it, I think. Yeah.
Well, okay, so this podcast is brought to you by the Script Summit Screenplay Contest, where you can win a cash prize with a chance to have a contract with a Hollywood talent manager. So you guys need to make sure you get out there to scriptsummit.com and learn more about it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking forward to hearing whatever you come up with. Okay. But in the future, I want to expand our streaming services, and I don't know if you have HBO or not, but I would love.
We don't, but we can get it.
Oh no, don't feel like you have to by any means.
No, I mean we're missing out on some content. We might as well.
Well, I'm just saying. All I'm saying is HBO Max has got that new Justice League coming out. That's like 4 hours long.
Yeah, that one we're not going to do, but
okay,
I will watch it. Right. Not,
Okay,
unless you want to do that.
I totally want to watch that movie, but that's okay. We don't have to cover it on the podcast. All right.
I don't care.
All right. So I look forward to what you have to suggest, and then we'll catch you guys next week.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share in your social media where you can tag us at The Successful Screenwriter.